the next speaker, Dr. Sri Varadarajan. Paravastu Varadarajanji is going to speak on Tridandi or Visishtaadvaita or Sri Vaishnava Sannyasa tradition. Actually, I came to know about Paravastu Varadarajanji through his YouTube channel called Bhaktamritam. They are doing a great service through that channel. They have already conducted a very big number of wonderful talks, interviews, and many other events on that YouTube channel. He lives in Srirangam, erudite scholar, not just in Vishishtadvaita tradition. If you watch his YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that he has covered the other Vedanta traditions like Advaita and Dvaita also. And through his work, not just through the YouTube channel, through his talks and academic writings and all that, he is doing yeoman service to Sanatana Dharma. And I have specially identified him and invited him for this talk on Vishishtadvaita Sannyasa Parampara. Over to you, Paravastu Varadarajanji.
Namaste. Namaskaram to one and all present here. That was a very generous introduction by Nagarajji. I kind of feel isolated in this prestigious event. I, being trained in the traditional way, may not be able to present points as the other speakers. And I would like to tell you all that I would just be speaking. I took it as a lecture and I may not be able to present anything visually. And so let's get into this topic. My topic for today is Tridandi Sannyasa of Vishishtadvaita, or let's consider that as Tridandi Sannyasa of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. I would like to construct my lecture in this way. I would like to speak about the Tridanda, Shikha, Yajnopavita and all first in the first part of my lecture, and then I would like to get into the second part where I may speak about how sannyasa dharma is viewed by Sri Vaishnavites. So let me start by saying that the concept of Tridanda wasn't introduced by Ramanujacharya by any means. There are many sources which we find which talk about Tridanda and Shikha and Yajnopavita and all. So let me take you through some sources which have been shown by Acharyas such as Vedanta Deshika, Vatsya Varadacharya and all. Usually the sequence goes as such. We have Shrutis, we have Smritis, Itihasas and Puranas. When we talk about Shruti, there is a Upanishad which has been quoted by Acharyas such as Vedanta Deshika, which is called Shatyayana Upanishad. In that particular Shatyayana Upanishad, Sannyasa Dharma has been spoken about. In that, Tridanda and other aspects of sannyasa have been spoken about. Usually, we see that there are 4 kinds of sannyasis. In the 4 kinds of sannyasis, we find that the last one is the Paramahamsa. The four go as follows: Kutichakaha, Bahudakaha, Hamsaha, and Paramahamsaha. Usually, we call every sannyasi as Paramahamsa now, but there are four types of them: Kutichakaha, Bahudakaha, Hamsaha, and Paramahamsaha. Among these, according to Shatyayana Upanishad, all four bear the Tridanda. It's not like only some bear the Tridanda, but all the four bear Tridanda. And this Upanishad has been shown by Acharyas such as Vedanta Deshika. That's one point. And coming from Shruti to Smriti, there are many Smritis which talk about the Tridanda. There are many Smritis shown by Acharyas such as Atri Smriti, Parashara Smriti, Harita Smriti, and so on. There are many Smritis which talk about this thing. So here I would like to first show what has been told in Shatyayana Upanishad. In that particular Upanishad, it is said, Tridandam upavitancha vasah kaupina veshtanam shikyam kavachamitetat vibriyat yavadayusham Tridandam Vaishnavam lingam vipranam mukti sadhanam nirvanam sarvadharmanam iti vedanu shasanam athakalu saumya kutichako bahudako hamsaf paramahamsa ityete chaturvidhaha parivrajaka bhavanti sarve vishnulinginaha sada swatmanam atmana brahmabhavam bhavayantaha sushilinaha punyashloka bhavanti iti. So this is the verse of Shatyayana Upanishad that has been quoted by Vedanta Deshika in his work Shatadushani, and also Vatsya Varadacharya, who lived before Vedanta Deshika, he also has quoted this in one of his works. So this is the Shatyayana Upanishad where we can see that Tridandam has been mentioned. And again, when we come to Smriti, in Smritis, it is said that there is Parashara Smriti which speaks about Tridandam. You know, there is a famous saying which says, Kalau Parashara Smritaha. So in Kali Yuga, Parashara Smriti is considered to be, foremost, or you can say it is considered to be very important. So in that particular Parashara Smriti, we can see that Tridanda has been mentioned by Parashara. Not only Parashara, Atri, Harita, and many other rishis have spoken about this Tridanda. So let us not get into every verse there, but let's just see that there are many verses speaking about Tridanda. So for example, Atri says, Lingantu Vaishnavam Tesham Tridandam Sapavitrakam Tridandena Yatishcheti Lakshanam Vaishrutam Smritau. Shandilya says, Dandani Trini Sangrahya Dharaye Vidhi Purvakam. Dattatreya says, Tridanda Rupadrik Vipraha Sakshan Narayana Smritaha, and it goes on. So, Tridanda has been mentioned in Smritis also. So, we have Shruti, we have Smriti, and then if you come to Itihasas, there are two Itihasas, of course, everyone knows that. And we have the Itihasa Shrestha, that is Sri Ramayana. In Sri Ramayana, in Aranyakanda, when Ravana comes to abduct Sita, he takes a form of sannyasi, and when he is being described, then Valmiki says, Shlakshana kashaya samvitaha shikhi chhatri upanahi bhame chamse vasajyatha shubhe yashti kamandalu parivrajaka rupena vaidehim samupagamat. Then you can find the word Shikhi. So now Ravana has taken a form of sannyasi. And we must understand that he is trying to, gain the confidence of Sita here. Because if he is not exactly like a sannyasi, then Sita will find out. So he takes a form which will be able to deceive Sita. So while taking such a sannyasi form, he becomes as such Shlakshana Kashaya Samvitaha. He is wearing a Kashaya Vastra. He has a Shikha, so he is Shikhi. He has Chhatra, he has Upanah. Upanah actually. So Chhatri, he has an umbrella, and Upanahi, he is wearing sandals, paduka. And Vamecham Seva Sajjatha Shubhe Yeshti Kamandalu, and he is bearing Kamandalu and a Yeshti. The commentators of this particular verse say that since he has a Shikha, the Yeshti that he is holding must be Tridanda. And it's not only Vaishnava Acharyas who comment so. Even in Tilaka Vyakhyanam it is said that his Shikhi Anena Tridandi Sannyasi Visheshaha Suchitaha. So Ravana has taken a form of Tridandi Sannyasi to gain the confidence of Ma Sita. So there we can see that there was this kind of Tridandi Sannyasi in that period. And we must also note that the Shikha has been mentioned here. So that's also something which must be seen here. So I think, that's one point that must be seen here. And at this point, I would also like to tell that speaking about the same event, in Mahabharata it is said, Ravanastu yetir bhutva mundah kundi tridandadhrik. It is said, Ravana became a yeti. He became a sannyasi, and he is mundaha kundi tridandadhrik. He has a kunda, he has tridanda, and he is mundaha. Now, there is, a difference. Like we see that he is a Shikhi in Shiramayana, and when we look at Mahabharata, he is said to be Mundaha. For this, the commentator here, actually in the commentary of Ramayana, Tilaka says that Tatra Munda ityanena jatitva vyavrittihi. Tatra Munda ityanena jatitva vyavrittihi. So he doesn't have a jata, so he has discarded the jata, or he has not taken jata. So that's the reason he is called a munda here. So he has shaven off the jata, or he doesn't have that jata. That's why he is called Shikhi. Thus comments Tilaka there. And also in other places, wherever sannyasis are told to have a mundanam, usually the Vaishnavite interpretation, let's not get into what is right or what is wrong. The Vaishnavite interpretation of that is that here Mundi doesn't mean that he has shaven his head completely, but it says that he must have a small shikha. And there is a verse that is being quoted by our acharyas. It is said, Mundinau sukshma shikhinau yatyante vasina ubhau. And this is from Harita Smriti, 5th Adhyaya. There it is said, Mundinau sukshma shikhinau. So those who have a very small tuft of hair, like this servant here, I have a large shikha. But it is said in Shastras that a yeti or antevasi is brahmachari. So a brahmachari and a sannyasi must not have large shikhas, they must have small shikhas. So this verse is used to interpret what mundanam is in the context of sannyasa. So mundinau sukshma shikhinau yatyantevasina ubhau, and this verse is used. So I would also like to say that when Ravana is said to be mundaha, we can also consider this to be there. So we can see that Shrutis mention about Tridanda. Smritis also have been mentioning about Tridanda. We have Itihasas, Sri Ramayana and Mahabharata, which are speaking about Tridanda. Mahabharata speaks about Tridanda explicitly, and Ramayana shows about the Shikha explicitly, and the word Yeshti must mean Tridanda according to the commentators. Okay, so this is one thing. And actually, I left one point in the Smritis section. Even in Smritis, we can find that in Manusmriti, in the 12th adhyaya, there is a shloka which goes as such: Vagdandotha manodandaha kayadandastathaivacha yasyaite nihita buddhau tridanditi sa uchyate. The Vaishnavite explanation or interpretation of this particular verse goes as such: Vagdandaha manodandaha kayadandaha. Danda here means damanam, that is controlling one's words, controlling one's speech, controlling one's mind, and controlling one's body. These are three danda, and a person who really has all these three in control is a Tridandi. He must be called a Tridandi. So the Vaishnava interpretation goes as not just a person who has three dandas in his hand is Tridandi, but all these three, that is controlling his speech, controlling his mind, and controlling his body. All these are part of Tridanda. That's why you will find many commentators of Manusmriti saying that it's not just about the Bahya Tridanda, but about Antara Tridanda also. So there is this mention of Tridandi even in Manusmriti. Of course, we can have different interpretations of that, but the Vaishnavite interpretation goes as such. So we have Shrutis, Smritis, Itihasas speaking about Tridandi. And now coming to Puranas, let's take one Purana, that is Bhagavata. In Bhagavata Puran, we see that there is mention of Tridanda. It is in the 12th skandha, and in that 23rd adhyaya, in 23rd adhyaya, we have a shloka, that is 34th shloka. Kechit trivenum jagruhu eke patram kamandalum pitham chaikeksha sutrancha kantham chirani kechana. So there is this shloka. Actually, there is a yeti, he is called Avadhuta, and these words, as spoken, as told by the previous speaker, these words such as yeti, parivrajaka, and sometimes Avadhuta, sannyasi, these have been used to denote sannyasis in various contexts. Here we see that some papishthas, some sinful people, come and take away trivenum of that particular vipra, of that particular yeti. So we see that there is mention of Tridanda, Trivenu. Venu is bamboo. So Tridandas is also called Trivenu. That Trivenu has been mentioned in Bhagavata. So this particular notion that Ramanujacharya or some other Vaishnavite started this tradition of Tridandi is, according to Vaishnava tradition, wrong. So these Shruti, Smriti, Itihasa, and Puranas have mentioned Tridandi. Okay. Now, isn't there any mention of Ekadanda Sannyasi or Ekadandi? Of course, there are mentions. There are two kinds of thoughts in Vaishnava tradition. One is that there is a Vikalpa. Some people become Ekadandi and some people become Tridandi. So there is a choice. You can do whatever you like. That is one kind of interpretation. And another one is Tridandi or Ekadandi. It is said that every sannyasi must be a Tridandi. That is one school of thought. Wherever Shastras mention about Ekadanda, it is said that when someone loses his Tridanda, at that point of time, he must not remain without any danda. For that particular period of time, till he finds a Tridanda, he must roam with Ekadanda. There is some Smriti verses saying this. And so, whenever a sannyasi is told to be Ekadanda, it must be understood that it is at that particular point of time that he is Ekadanda. So, this is one thought, one school of thought that must be mentioned here. So we have these kind of Sanskrit works coming from the Shrutis, which have spoken about Tridandi, and also there have been mentions about Shikha also for a sannyasi. So Tridanditva, Shikhitva, and one other thing is Yajnopavita. In many verses shown by Acharya such as Vedanta Deshika, there are many verses which clearly speak about them having the sannyasis having Yajnopavita. So that's again many smritis speak about them having Yajnopavita, and those verses which speak about leaving the Yajnopavita, as mentioned by the previous speaker also, there is this verse from Upanishad which says that you should leave the Yajnopavita. So usually the interpretation goes as follows. One must change his Yajnopavita during sannyasa when he, at the time of sannyasa svikara. So at that point of time, he must change. That's why he sacrifices the previous Brahma Sutra or the Yajnopavita. And so leaving the Brahma Sutra must be understood as, leaving the previous Brahma Sutra, which was in Grihastha. So these Vaishnava sannyasis are Tridandis. They have a Shikha and they also wear Yajnopavita. This can be known from these pramanas. And now I would also like to mention some Tamil Sangam literature which speak about Tridandi sannyasis. First I would like to tell that we have Alvars who were way before Ramanujacharya or Yamunacharya or other Nathamuni and all. These Alvars, not every Alvar, but a particular Alvar who is called Bhakti Sara. He is considered to be the fourth Alvar. He speaks about Tridandis in his Pasuram, in his song. He is speaking about Srirangam, the Srirangam that Adir is speaking from, I am speaking from. When he is speaking about Srirangam, he says, Sitre itra mutral mungil mundru dandar undinar, atrapatar shutti vaadum andanir arangame. This Srirangam, it is surrounded by people who hold in their hands Tridanda. Sitre itra mutral mungil mundru dandar. Mungil is bamboo. Mundru means three, and danda, everyone knows that. So he says that sannyasis who have three danda in their hand are roaming around, and they are also atrapatra who have no attachments. So devoid of all their attachments, they are roaming about in Srirangam. So while talking about Srirangam, there is mention of Tridandi sannyasis, and this is by Alvars. And now let's go even before. In Tamil Sangam literature, we have many songs, not one, but many songs which speak about Tridandi sannyasis. Let me tell you one or two. There is a text named Kali Togai. There is a text named Kali Togai which speaks about Tridandi sannyasis. I'll just tell that song now. Yerittar kadir tangi endiya kudainidal urittalda karagamam uraisandra mukkolum neripada suvalasai e வேரோரா நெஞ்சத்து குறிப்பேவல் செயல் மாலை கொளைநடை அந்த நீர் செவ்விடை செலன்மாலை ஒழுக்கத்தீர். There while speaking about those sannyasis, it is said Urai Chandra Mukkolum. Mukkol is Tridanda. Mukkol is nothing but the Tridanda. And it is also said Urai Chandra Mukkolum, which literally means that Tridanda which has been praised by many scriptures. Urai Chandra Mukkol literally means that Tridanda which has been praised by scriptures. So Urai Chandra Mukkol, there is this Sangam literature which speaks about Tridanda Mukkol. And also, செக்கர்கள் பொடுதினான் ஒலிநீவி இனனாரை முக்கோல்கள் அந்தனர் முதுமொழி நிறைவார் போல். Here again, முக்கோல்கள் அந்தனர். Andanar, this word andanar is sometimes used to denote Brahmins and also sometimes used to denote sannyasis. In this particular context, it is used to denote sannyasis. So they are called Mukkol Andanar, and also we see that they are called Mukkol Pagavar in Sangam literature. So these Tridandis, and it is said that they are, thinking about Mudumodi, that is Vedas. So we have Sangam literature which is speaking about Tridandis. So Sangam literature dates back very in the very back. I mean, it is usually considered that it was done, somewhere around 5 AD or something like that. And of course, the belief system here is completely different. But going according to today's, belief, I'm saying so. So in Tamil Sangam literature, these Tridandis have been spoken about, and it is also said that they were, following Vaidika Dharma. So usually Mudu Mori is, considered to be Veda by, Vaidikas. So that is one thing. And also there is this very important text of, there is a very important text called Tolkapiyam. Tolkapiyam, it is considered to be one of the, first texts in Tamil. And in that, while speaking about the lakshanas of a yati, of a sannyasi, it is said, Nule karagam mukkol manaye ayum kalai andanar kuriya. What are the lakshanas? What are the characteristics or, qualities of a sannyasi? While speaking about that, the Tolkapiyakarar, he says, Nule karagam mukkol manaye ayum kalai andanar kuriya. He says, Nule. This Nul here mentioned is nothing but the Yajnopavita. That is called Punul, sometimes Purinul, and it's called Nul. Nul is nothing but a thread. That's why Nul means Yajnopavita. Of course, there are some people who opine that this is not the Yajnopavita but something else. But the Vedic interpretation of this goes as such. So a sannyasi has Yajnopavita Nule, Karagam, Mukkol. Karagam is nothing but a pantra which is held by sannyasis, and Mukkol again Tridanda, and Manaye, he also has an asana with him that he carries everywhere. So these are some things that that define a sannyasi according to the Tolkapiyam. So even in texts like Tolkapiyam, Mukkol has been mentioned. So this Tridanda or Mukkol has been spoken about in various texts, and I have just quoted just one or two here, but actually there are many more verses from Sangam literature which speak about this particular Tridanditva. Okay, so this is my first part of lecture. Next, I would like to get into the second part of this lecture. We have spoken about Tridanditva and all. Now, let's get into what sannyasa according to Vaishnava Sampradaya is, and what is the purpose of taking sannyasa ashrama, and so on. So, what is sannyasa? So, as known by everyone, it is the fourth ashrama: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and the fourth one is sannyasi. That's why the sannyasa ashrama is called Turiya ashrama, Chaturtha ashrama, and all, since it's the fourth one. So, getting into the fourth one. Now, is there any relation between liberation and sannyasa according to Vaishnava tradition? It would be said no. We don't believe that only sannyasis would get liberated. That's not our belief. That's not our sampradaya. So then why would someone take sannyasa, and what is that particular sannyasa? So sannyasa, as is in many different sampradayas, is also leaving all attachments. Leaving all attachments That is, one's family and all. So sanyastamaya, they say, and they leave every family attachment and other attachment towards things, and they take this oath of sannyasa. And this is mostly common to all sampradayas. And so that is sannyasa. And the purpose of sannyasa must be considered to be as follows. In Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the ultimate goal of a jiva is to serve the Lord. So the ultimate purpose of a jiva or ultimate goal of a jiva is eternal service to the Lord. For that, to attain that eternal service, we try to get liberated from the samsara. Maybe everyone knows that, but in Visishtaadvaita philosophy or Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, rather, we believe that a jiva must reach a particular place called Paramapada or Vaikuntha, where he is devoid of all the doshas of samsara, and he is always in a service of Lord. So that is the eternal service. That is the goal of each jiva. So, according to Vaishnava Sampradaya, if we go deep, they actually don't even want to get liberated. That is not the main purpose of a jiva, but to do eternal service to Lord. But see, eternal service to Lord is not possible when we are in samsara, because we have hunger, thirst, and all which affect us. So we are not able to do eternal service to Lord. So that's the reason Sri Vaishnavas want to get liberated. So doing eternal service and eternal service is the goal. If possible, they would also choose to be in samsara. That's why you will find many pasharams of alvas and acharyas saying that they would be okay even if they are kept in samsara. Like Hanumanji, he said, I don't want to get to moksha, I want to be here. Similarly, alvas and acharyas also say that it is not liberation that we want, but we want eternal service. So to attain that particular eternal service, we want to get liberated. So even liberation is not the ultimate goal, but eternal service is the ultimate goal. But now, moksha doesn't, liberation doesn't happen immediately. So there is a particular period of time in which one has to live in this samsara. But even while living in this samsara, we have to be continuously doing service to Lord. Keeping this in mind, people take sannyasa ashrama, because when someone is attached to his family or other things, he wouldn't be able to do service to Lord. So to enable one's service to Lord, or to enable someone to do service to Lord, one takes the sannyasa ashrama. This is the concept in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So it is not only about liberation, but it's actually about service to Lord. So this is why a sannyasi takes sannyasa ashrama. I mean, a grihastha or someone takes a sannyasa ashrama. And people also quote some verses which say that vanaprastho grihastho va brahmachari tathaiva cha. So everyone, be it a brahmachari or a grihastha or a vanaprastha, he can go into sannyasa ashrama. And so this is one thing. And all the other verses, such as yadahareva virajet tadahareva pravrajet, it is said that when someone gets vairagya, that is the time he has to move into sannyasa ashrama. So when one gets vairagya towards family and all, and he is inclined towards Bhagavan's service, one gets into sannyasa ashrama. And sannyasa ashrama is not directly related to liberation. That's why we'll find many acharyas in Sri Vaishnava Guru Parampara who are not sannyasis. Of course, there are some sannyasis like Ramanujacharya, Yamunacharya, Vedanti Muni, and Varavara Muni, and many others. But it is not a rule that only sannyasis are part of Guru Parampara. So here, this is the purpose of sannyasa service. And as told by the previous speaker, I really want to say sorry. I want to apologize because I'm not able to remember that particular Swami's name. As as I was hearing to that, a Parivrajaka is someone who must be roaming. So it is said that sannyasi must be gramaika ratra. He must not stay in a place for more than one night. It's said in some places, and some people consider that to be for 3 days, and there are many interpretations to that. But again, if you look at Sri Vaishnava sannyasis, you will usually find that they stay at one place, and usually that place will be a temple, or that place would be near a temple. So Ramanujacharya lived in Srirangam for most of his life, and other sannyasis also lived near a temple, and there's a reason for that. There is a verse told by our acharyas, Mathapatyam yatih kuryat Vishnu dharma abhivruddhaye. Usually a sannyasi must not get into a matha, because again, it's an organization. He'll again get attached to something. So usually a person must not do mathapatyam. But for developing Vishnu dharma, for developing our dharma, one can do mathapatyam. Mathapatyam yatih kuryat Vishnu dharma abhivruddhaye. So that is one reason why we find many sannyasis having a matha and organizing various activities which help in in the propagation of our dharma. And especially in Vaishnava tradition, you will find that they are usually affiliated to some temple, some Divyadesha. In Shiva Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have many Divyadeshas, mainly 108 Shiva Vaishnava Divyadeshas, and other places, other temples where you will find mathas. For example, I am from Srirangam. We have a math here. We have a math here, Sri Ranganarayana Jiyar Matham, we say. So that math is affiliated to Ranganatha Swami Devasthanam, Ranganatha Swami Temple. And you will find some very famous mutts of Shiva Vaishnava Sampradaya, such as Vanamamalai Mutt. Again, Vanamamalai or Shri Varamangala Nagar, it is said, that is a temple in South Tamil Nadu. So it is affiliated to that. You will find a Tirukurumudi Jiyar Matham, again it is a temple. It is affiliated to that. So these mutts, they usually take care of that particular temple. And even if you look at the famous Tirumala temple, there we have two mutts. It is called Peddajiyar Mutt and Chinnajiyar Mutt. And there are two sannyasis there to take care of the services rendered to Lord Sri Venkateshwara Swami. And actually, in our Sampradaya, everyone is aware of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya himself appointed that particular mutt in Tirumala to take care of the services of Lord Venkateshwara Swami. And again, it is said in our Sampradaya that Ramanujacharya took avatara again as Varavara Muni. And Varavara Muni Swami, he appointed another sannyasi in Tirumala so that the service would be uninterrupted. Even if one sannyasi is not able to do service or take care of that, if there is some gap, it must be filled by another one. And so you can see that there is a mutt affiliated to Tirumala temple. And you will find Ahobila mutt, which is again, Ahobila is a Divyadesham where we have many temples. So it is affiliated to a temple there. So you usually we find that it is to do service in a temple that a mutt is established, and a sannyasi takes care of that mutt. So this is the purpose of sannyasa ashrama in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And coming to some aspects of sannyasa ashrama in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, I would like to say one thing here. Usually there is a belief, and there are some verses which say that a sannyasi must never prostrate before a grihastha or a brahmachari. There is this verse. But in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have some special rules regarding how to treat a bhakta. So we say that Vaishnavo Vaishnavam Drishtva Dandavat Pranamet Bhumi. If a Vaishnava meets a Vaishnava, he must fall like a stick and prostrate. So when a sannyasi sees a bhakta who is a grihastha or a brahmachari, even that sannyasi must prostrate, because it is not the varna or ashrama that is important, but rather the bhakti, the Vaishnavatva, that is more important. So in our sampradaya, we give more importance to the bhakti or the Vaishnavatva of that particular person. And so we have many texts which speak about Yati Vandana Samarthanam. Yati Vandana Samarthanam, all those who are aware of Sanskrit, we can consider that to be as both ways, like Yati Kartrika Vandana Samarthanam, Yati Karmaka Vandana Samarthanam. Like, the Vandanam, the prostration, that, could be to the sannyasi. I mean, someone prostrates before a sannyasi, and it could also mean a sannyasi prostrating before someone. So, but in Vaishnava Sampradaya, it is said even a yeti, even a sannyasi must prostrate if he is a right Vaishnava, eligible Vaishnava, and that is one important thing. And I would also like to tell an anecdote here. In our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, in the time of Ramanujacharya, it is said that there were 700 sannyasis who were under Ramanujacharya. And after Ramanujacharya, there was a great acharya called Parashara Bhatta. He was the one who has written the commentary of Vishnu Sahasranama in Visishtaadvaita or Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. That Bhattar, Parashara Bhattar, had a disciple called Vedanti Muni. Vedanti Muni. He took sannyasa and came to do service for Parashara Bhatta. It is said that once some disciples were taking Parashara Bhattaji. Parashara Bhattar is a grihastha. Parashara Bhattar is a grihastha. Some shishyas were taking him in a in palanquin. By doing so, Nanjiyar also came, because Nanjiyar, I mean the Vedanti Muni, was a sannyasi, but he was a disciple of Parashara Bhatta. So he came and he tried to put that palanquin on his shoulders. Many people there, they came and told him, Swami, you are a sannyasi. Being a sannyasi, how can you do this? How can you do this? That's when he said, if this sannyas ashrama becomes a hindrance for my acharya service, then I wouldn't even want this sannyas ashrama. So I would like to tell this anecdote to show that service to Lord, service to devotees is more important than sannyas ashrama in a Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And so we will find that sannyasis prostrate before others such as grihasthas and brahmacharis, and also they do services to Lord, and to do those services they have taken the vow of a sannyasi, and they live so. So I think I have covered the pramanas which speak about Tridanda, Shikha, etc. And I have tried to explain what the purpose of sannyasa in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is, and some peculiar aspects of Sri Vaishnava sannyasis. So at this point, I would like to finish my lecture or upanyas, whatever it is, and I would like to thank the organizers to have called me here. This is the first time that I am speaking in this kind of a program. Usually I participate in the traditional sadhas and all. In traditional sadhas, we have some questions coming on, and we speak in Sanskrit. It goes on. So the first time. So maybe I wasn't experienced enough. Yeah, I am not experienced enough to be speaking here. But thank you for giving this opportunity. Hope it was informative and it helped you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Varadarajan ji. That was really, really very, very useful. You were covering the distinct features of Sri Vaishnava Sannyasa. That was definitely a new information for all those who were not aware of the specific distinctions within Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And
Yes.
definitely all the audience must have felt so happy that there are such radical points, such as a sannyasi also doing Dandavat Pranam to a Vaishnava, and a sannyasi intending to be in the world only for Vishnu Seva. All those are wonderful, great points. There are some questions. Are there female sannyasis in Vaishnava tradition? One question.
No, we don't
There,
see any female sannyasis in Vaishnava tradition.
this was by Ela Filter. Uh, this question was from Ela Filter. Lalita ji is asking, it could be that if sannyasi being bereft of desires, trained well in shastras, etc., would be the best person to take care of temples and temple wealth.
Yes.
Probably that is the reason why temples were kept under their management.
Yes, yes, yes. It makes sense.
Uh,
Again, when it is bestowed upon a parampara, sometimes we see that even in great acharya paramparas, there are some people who are not competent enough to take care of that. But when it becomes a sannyasa or a matha, then you can choose the right person to, succeed. That is also one point that I would say. And of course, those sannyasis, they don't have anything attached. So they would be the best people to run anything, actually, anything. And a temple must be under the control by all means. Yes.
there is another question, I think. Practically speaking, was the danda an aid for travel since sannyasis are supposed to travel extensively? No, no, Lalita ji. Actually, this is a modern way of looking at shastric and sampradayic things, traditional things, danda to be an aid for travel kind of things.
No,
Uh,
there is a mantra. There is a mantra when a person, takes sannyasa, they say Sakhami Gopaya. You are the only friend, no other Sakha. You are the only Sakha who will be traveling with me. So there is no other person with whom he has any attachment. So he is considered to be not he, that particular object is considered to be his Sakha. Yeah, that's a mantra. Sakhami Gopaya.
These are there are many such items which are diksha chinhas. They are
Yes.
they are
Not only
insignia.
sannyasis, I think, even brahmacharis have, Palasha Danda, and
Hmm.
we have dandas. And
Those dandas are
as told by
diksha
you,
chinhas.
yeah, Diksha Chinnas. Yeti Linga they called. Linga
Hmm.
means, Chinha, of course.
Hmm.
Chinha and Linga are,
Hmm.
synonyms. So they are called Yeti Linga. So they just show you that are there. And I would like to say this point. Maybe I missed it. Tridanda, it denotes something. In Visishtaadvaita philosophy, we say that there are three which are in reality. Like, in contrast to Advaita, we say that the Chetana, Achetana, and Ishvara, these three are distinct and real. So the Tridanda kind of denotes the existence of three. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's wonderful. So these are those, there is so much of interpretation that is required for all those symbols.
Yes.
So we cannot take these things as so easily as
I would like to take this opportunity to tell one point. Just reiterating what you said. There is this intention that we see that everyone, everything that is done, they want to, relate that to some practical thing. You
Ah,
know, I would suggest that, there are some things which may be just to, you know, please Bhagavan sometimes. or just show that you are this. Like I wear this Urdhva Pundra. This Urdhva Pundra doesn't have any medical benefit according to me. And it's not because of some medical benefit or some other benefit that I'm wearing. It is just to show that I'm a Vaishnava and also to please my Lord. That's why. That's a point that I would like to make here.
So thank you, Lalita ji, for bringing up that very important question. Because of your question only, Acharya ji was able to make that wonderful answer. Vaijayanti ji is saying, we see the sannyasa ashrama grahana by the grihasthas. Are there brahmacharya to sannyasa examples or pramanas in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya?
Yes, we have examples. There is this Vanamamalai Math, which is a very prestigious math in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is based in South India. There is a Nanganeri place. There is a temple there. That Vanamamalai Jiyar, he was a disciple of Varavara Yogi, Varavara Muniji, Varavara Swami. He was also a sannyasi. And that Vanamamalai Jiyar, he is also called, Totadri Mat. It's also called Totadri Mat, Totadri Swami. That Swami, that sannyasi Swami who established that particular mat, he had taken sannyasa directly from brahmacharya. So that is a example from way before, and we still find many people like the famous Chinnajiyar Swami from Andhra. He has also taken sannyasa from brahmacharya, and so we have many Sri Vaishnavas, and we also have verses which say that Shastric verses which show that anyone, be it a brahmachari, be it a sannyasi, brahmachari, grihastha, or vanaprastha, who can take sannyasa. Yes.
Thank you very much, Varadarajan ji. That was your question answer session was also very, very useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.